1966, 1967, 1968. People just start dying of cancer in the late 60s. Now everybody's dying of cancer. That is an area perhaps somebody else may investigate, or I'll do it later on. But my hands are filled now doing research on AIDS. But don't you think something is funny? I talk to undertakers, and they tell me about all these young children dying. You know, teenagers dying of cancer. Cancer of the brains, cancer of this. In 1950 or 55, no black people basically died of cancer. Why is it all of a sudden black people died of cancer? All right? That's something to think about. Let's continue. I told you number 5 already about England has published the fact that AIDS is a germ warfare created in the United States to kill people. That's known. In the book I have out there, I have a reprint. Scientologists expose germ warfare testing on American citizens. Scientologists is not a religious group. They run ads from time to time in the New York Times exposing how the United States government used germ warfare on American citizens, how it tested on them and how they killed them. It's not me now. Remember, everything I've said to you, I've presented proof. You know, Sergio didn't know what to do this morning. You know, he didn't know what to do. I remember I went downtown to the Haitian rally. They had asked me to come to defend them that they did not bring AIDS to America. NBC, CBS, ABC, New York Times, Newsday didn't. All of them talked to me because I spoke. And I said the United States created AIDS and germ warfare. They said, who are you, Dr. Felder? Where you come from? South Carolina. What's your credential? I'm a biochemist. You know, we said all this. All the news media had all the facts. That was on a Friday. You know what happened? Saturday, the newspaper came out. The New York Times had a whole page about the demonstration. And they had about one big paragraph. You know what it said? Somebody grabbed the microphone and hollered AIDS was man-made. That's what I was a speaker. I spoke for 30 minutes to 250,000 people. But you know what? They would not say a U.S. trained biochemist said that, because that would give it too much legitimacy. So what they say? Somebody grabbed the microphone and hollered. This is what they do. Oh my. They knew my name, they knew my credentials. This is a funny story. Last year, I don't know whether it was the FBI or the CIA, they were chasing me all around. They was going to all the black bookstores. Now that's a fact. They were getting the books, and they left word at the Liberation Bookstore that they were going to crucify me in the New York Times. They said, we're going to get him. The New York Times right away to the Liberation Bookstore, they went to Alman Ra. We're going to get that Dr. Jack Felder. We're going to crucify him. It never appeared in the New York Times. Why do you think it never appeared? You know what? If they attack me, then they got to confront me. And when they confront me, and I start producing all the United States government records, what are they going to do? I may be a black man, but I'm one black man they have never said was stupid. It's like Jews. They will say everything about a Jew, but nobody ever will say a Jew is stupid. I'm not stupid. When I left the government, I took my cases and I put all the papers and took it with me. When they hang me, I'm going to throw the papers all over the city. You understand? I'm going to throw them all over the city. That's all. And they're going to say, well, it's a forgery. Let the people do the test and see whether it's a forgery or not. Okay? Let's continue. Let's go to, okay, number 6, I told you about the Scientology church. Number 7, we talked about the Indians, you already know that. Number 8, I think everybody here knows number 8, where they went down to Tuskegee and injected syphilis in anatomy black men, and they tested 40 years. And these black men died left and right, okay? I think some of you have seen the videotape by Dr. Robert Strecker. But let me tell you something about Dr. Robert Strecker. They threatened him and they assassinated his brother. His brother has been killed. He's dead. He was shot in the head, dead, assassinated. He's now dead. I don't know why they don't assassinate Dr. Robert Spector. Maybe they figure if they kill him, everybody will revolt. All right? Now let's continue. A few more minutes, and I'm going to show you a few things, and that's it, okay? How many of you are familiar with the Covert magazine? They got a magazine called Covert Action. You get number 28, okay? On the front they got CIA and drugs. Let me just give you some things they have said this government has done. This magazine says, chemical, biological warfare, medical experiments, and population control for president or aid. It says it right here. It's not me. It says it. It gives examples of the United States government using chemical warfare in World War I, World War II. It explains how the United States used chemical and germ warfare on the crops of Nazi Germany and on the crops of Japanese. It explains how the United States, let me just give you something, what they did to Native Indians. Native American nation, the first recorded instance of U.S. biological warfare was in 1763, when white colonial settlers gave smallpox-infected blankets to Native Americans who sought renovation. Many died as a result. This tactic was repeated during the Trail of Tears of the 1800s. Now, let's go to North Korea. North Korea, in the Korean War, 1950 to 1953, the first modern U.S. counterinsurgent was, according to an international investigating commission. This is the International Investigating Committee. The U.S. used an array of germ warfare against the Democratic People's Republic of North Korea. Feathers, now get this, feathers infected with anthrax, lice, fleas, and mosquitoes. Those with plagues and yellow fever, disease, rodents, and various implements, contamination with deadly microbes, toilet paper. When the North Koreans went to the toilet and used the paper, it was infected with germs. Envelopes and the 18 fountain pens. Those are some things they infected. So when white people come to you giving you free cigarettes, free toothpaste, free this, free that, think twice about it, okay? Now I'm telling you. In 1950, the U.S. Navy sprayed a cloud of bacteria over San Francisco. In 1952 and 53, clouds of zinc, cadmium, sulfur was sprayed over Canada, St. Louis, Missouri, blah, blah, blah. Now get this. This is for you. How many people from Florida? Anybody from Florida? In 1955, the Tampa Bay area of Florida experienced a sharp rise in whooping cane cases, including 12 deaths following a CIA bio-war test whose details are still secret. From 1956 to 1958, in the poor black community of Savannah, Georgia, and Avon Park, Florida, the army carried out field tests with mosquitoes that was infected with yellow fever. The insects were released into residential area from ground level and dropped from planes and helicopters. Many people were swarmed by mosquitoes and then developed unknown fever. Some died. Now get this. After each test, Army agents posing as public health officials photographed and tested victims, and then they disappeared. They disappeared, okay? From June the 7th to the 10th, 1966, the Army Special Operations Division dispensed a bacillus throughout the New York City subway system. The Army reported on the experiment, noted the existence of subways in the Soviet Union, Europe, and South America. Now, in this Covert magazine, they have 30 or 40 documented instances where the United States Army went into areas and tested germs and killed people, and then they would come posing, we are the New York City Health Department, what's going on here? Let's test these people. And then they disappeared. We, as black people, if we're going to survive, we have our brains. Use our brains. If I was Sergio, and if a black woman called me and said, I took my child to the Harlem hospital, I said, don't vaccinate them, and they vaccinated and the child died, I would look into that. I mean, you know, what are we? If you bring your child side, one day they inject the child died, let's investigate. I said to you that a vaccination for measles, smallpox, you know what it costs? It costs less than $1 to produce, maybe 3 or 4 cents. We have competent doctors. Let's set up our labs and produce our own vaccinations and inject our own people. I'm telling you, if we don't do that, we're going to be dead. We as black people, there are 2 things we cannot allow. We cannot allow white people who are our enemies. I don't care what nobody's saying. We cannot allow white people to educate us or our children. You can't do that. To allow white people to educate you is like allowing the fox to educate the chickens. It's true. Second, we cannot allow white people to treat us medically, to be in charge of our health. We cannot do that. I tell white people that to their face. They say, I'm a racist. I'm a racist. I never brought millions of people to America on a slave ship. I never stole nobody's language that we don't know our language. We're speaking the white man language. Even in Haiti, they're speaking the white man language. In Brazil, we don't know our language. They have stolen everything for us. And they call us racist. Who is the racist? I think most of you have listened to some lecture I gave on WLIB with Gabriel show. And I think most of you, or a lot of you, have gotten this book. But I'm going to tell you, if you don't have this book, please get this book. Don't think about the money you spend. You're buying information, not a book. It'll save your life. Now, why do I say to save your life? In the back of the book, I have what can you do? And it tells you things you can do. For example, you can go to the drugstore, you buy a spermicide. It's called no-noxonate. It contains no-noxonate. Now get it, because some people told me they couldn't buy it. The name of the spermicide is not no-noxonate. It's a spermicide that contains no-noxonate. That spermicide, for the females, if you use that as birth control with a diaphragm or just inject it, it'll save your life. For the men, you can use it on the end of your penis, it'll save your life. Why? Because people with AIDS, I know a doctor up to the prison upstate, he said these guys are dying of AIDS, and their girlfriends are coming to visit them. And you know what they do? They have sex with them. That's a fact. So I'm going to tell the women, please get that spermicide and use it. Because a lot of guys will have AIDS and they will be dying, but they figure they're going to take as many people with them as possible. It's not funny, sad. They do this. So if you use that spermicide, if the man have AIDS, it will kill the AIDS virus in the vagina. You won't get it. Guaranteed. I wrote to the CDC and I said, why haven't you exposed this in the newspaper? They will not expose it. They could have saved tens of thousands of lives by doing that, by exposing a simple spermicide cream. And I usually carry one around with me, but the one I had it disappeared. I don't know where it is. I think some woman took it, you know. And also, you can go buy the condoms that have spermicide in it, no noxonate. It's going to be up to you to save your life. I'm telling you. Next point. It tells you things you can do. What can you do? Recommended reading news, so this is worth your life. Now, I don't know whether at the end of the program he's going to allow some question and answers. I do not know, but it depends on him. But BET had said they were going to film this tonight. I haven't heard from them in a week. And they are not here filming now. So what happened to that, I do not know. But if BET eventually film it, all I'm going to do is present the document. I remember one time Gary Bird asked me, he said, Dr. Felder, what proof do you have? I said, Gary, the proof is on your desk. I gave it to you. Do you think I'm crazy? When I come out here and tell you the United States Army created AIDS to kill black people and non-white people, if I didn't have proof, they would put me in jail. But for some reason, they seem to be running away from me lately. I don't know why. I don't know what they're planning. But they refuse to confront me. But when they confront me, you think I gave you documents here. The documents I'm going to present is going to blow the roof off the house. And let me tell you something. I got documents all over in safe places. So if I demise, they're going to be mailed out. I'm not stupid. I spent about 40 minutes talking to you, and I want to wind up. But listen, I put my life on the line to save your life. You better take up the struggle and be aware and do things to save your life. There's no way you can allow people to take your children and do what they want medically with them. You think of ways to get around this hurdle. You think of ways to save your life. The white people in this country are the enemies of black people. I work with them. They always tell me, you're different, you're educated, you're different, you're educated. I'm different, I'm educated. But what happened when they kill all of you? What are they going to do with me? Huh? So the last thing I want to say, I do have 100 of these brand new newspapers on the table out there, and it's talking about on page 4, Malcolm X assassination. You can get one free, it costs you nothing. And you know I always pass out these papers for free. And also, the book is out there on that table, you can get it. And when we finish, if they allow us to have a question and answer time, you'll be free to ask questions, and I'll answer to the best of my ability. So you better talk to me now while I'm around, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna bring it to a close, and all I'm gonna say, watch yourself health-wise. Take care of your health, okay?
Give Dr. Felder a round of applause. I think he's doing a good job. You have heard him, and he has said some things that I think we should, our chairman, Attorney Alton Maddox. As Dr. Felder said, when it comes to our health, we should not play games with our health. Because as you know and I know, the black man has no friends, none. So it's good advice to get his book, read it, and educate yourself, and hopefully you'll be able to protect yourself. Right now, I would like each of you all to stand and welcome a brother who has gone out of his way to stand up for African people wherever